If you struggle with high blood sugar, I know this video is going to be an encouragement to you. I'm taking this video clip from my first video in the series, Overcome Runaway Blood Sugar. In this segment, I'll be sharing with you some of the struggles I went through when I first realized that something was drastically wrong with me. In future videos, I'll be sharing with you some of the answers I discovered as I prayed and desperately sought answers to the problem of roller coaster blood sugar. I've now kept diabetes at bay and had stable blood sugar for over 15 years as a result of those answers. Let's go now to the first segment of the first video in the series, Overcome Runaway Blood Sugar. A number of years ago, I experienced blood sugar levels that were jumping all over the place, both high and low. It was a terrible time in my life, and the worst part of all of it was not knowing what in the world was going on. What I did know was that I felt absolutely terrible. Sometimes my whole body shook and trembled violently. There wasn't a thing I could do to make it stop. I went through a season where I had to eat something every 2 or 3 hours, or I knew I'd be in serious trouble. I even passed out once and had a number of occasions in which I felt I was very close to passing out. And it's a miserable thing to know that you're losing control and you could faint at any time. I didn't know what was going on, but I suspected it had something to do with blood sugar and the possibility of diabetes. And I knew that diabetes was something I definitely did not want. My mother had suffered from diabetes the last 20 years of her life, and it had taken a terrible toll on her. She ended up having both her legs amputated and becoming an invalid. Mom had always been so active, so full of life, but her positive spirit and her zest for life still proved no match for diabetes. Although she did live to be 80 before dying of a heart attack, her last 10 years especially were not quality years by any means. She struggled gamely with this terrible disease, but she really did not have the tools and she didn't have the information with which to fight against it. She knew enough to cut down on the sweets. Pretty much everybody knows that, but that was about it. And here I was now facing the specter of this terrible disease while still in my 40s. And I don't mind telling you, I was plenty scared. I went on a quest to try to find the answers, and by the grace of God, I found those answers, and I dodged a huge bullet in my life. In this video, I want to share with you the process I went through in those early days, and how I found deliverance and was able to get control of my runaway blood sugar. I believe, if nothing else, you can be inspired by my story and start to recognize that when blood sugar goes out of control in your life, it is not a death sentence, nor does it automatically mean that you're going to be a flaming diabetic the rest of your days. There is hope for you, and hope is such a wonderful thing. One of the things that I'm trying to do in this video is to show you some of the milestones that came along in my journey toward freedom from runaway blood sugar. And one of those milestones occurred while I was at church. I was sitting in a church minding my own business, and something happened that really got my attention. Now, up to this point, I had been having experiences of a kind of a weakness that happened late in the mornings, just before noontime. I didn't know what it was, but it had something to do with our Sunday morning meal. You see, it was pretty much my theology that on Sunday mornings we would eat cereal for breakfast. The reason that I had cereal on Sunday mornings was a very simple one. Cereal is about the easiest meal there is to fix. So I'd have my bowl of cereal every Sunday morning, and then we'd go to church. Now, I was trying to be a good boy, so I was trying to eat healthy. I had a bowl of Raisin Bran, and I figured Raisin Bran is a good, healthy cereal. And I was also trying to watch my weight. I was a little bit overweight at that time, so I limited myself to one bowl. Of course, I decided since I'm only going to eat one bowl, I'll make it a nice sized bowl. So it was a large bowl of Raisin Bran. Had my Raisin Bran, went to church, sat through the service, and at the end, I got up. And it was when I got up that I realized something was very, very much wrong. I was feeling not just weak and a little shaky like I had done many times before, but it felt like I was about to pass out. So as I got up, I realized something was terribly wrong. I made my way slowly, feeling like I was going to faint at any time. Thank the Lord I didn't faint right there in church. I think that would have really caused a scene. I did make it to the bathroom. Well, actually, I didn't quite make it to the bathroom. I got close. Finally, as I got to a wall beside the bathroom, I had so little strength left, and I knew I was losing it entirely, that I just simply put my back against the wall and slid down to the floor. The next thing I knew, I was waking up, and I don't know how long I was out. It may have been several minutes. I suppose it was. But the next thing I knew, I was waking up, and there was a nurse who was tending me and was kind of holding me, and they had called for the paramedics. The paramedics came, and they began to ask me some questions. By then I was awake, I was a little groggy, and one of the things they asked me was I a diabetic? I told them I had been struggling with some blood sugar problems, and they immediately produced a blood sugar monitor and tested me. Now, blood sugar monitors will give you all kinds of readings from 50, 60, 80, 100, 150, 200, 250. But if they go way too high in the extreme or way too low in the extreme, they won't give you a number reading. They'll just simply read high or low. If they read high, you are in real trouble. If they read low, you're in more trouble still, because chances are your blood sugar is below 40 and you could be close to death. And that's what mine read. It read the letters L-O, low. Well, they knew I needed something fast, and they brought some cookies to me and some juice from the nursery of the church, and I gobbled them down as quick as I could. They waited a few minutes, they tested me again, it went up a bit. A little later it went up, it was into the 70s, and I was in the safe range once again. Although in this video clip I didn't share any of the answers I found, I wanted to give you a background of some of what I went through as I struggled with roller coaster blood sugar and sought answers to my condition. If you'd like to order the entire DVD from which this video clip was taken, go to spiritofgrace.org/diabetes. You can either order the particular DVD from which we took this clip, or the series of DVDs that we produced up to this point. We hope to eventually create a 9 DVD series that will cover the basic fundamentals of runaway blood sugar and some of the keys that have worked in my life in bringing blood sugar under control. If you want to be alerted every time we post a new Beat Diabetes video on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, then click on the bell icon, and then click on the box near the words "Send me all notifications." And by clicking on the thumbs up like icon, you'll ensure that others are going to be able to see this DVD as well, as YouTube will be more likely to rank this video higher among diabetes videos. Well, that's it for now. God bless, and see you again soon.